So today we will be talking about like all the aspects of research. Like there will be like the component of talking about like presenting posters and applying for that, but also like the basic logistical things like how to print a poster or something like that. So the slides have been made by like all of our team members, but they weren't available at this time. So I will just be communicating their words. And yeah, if you haven't signed in, there's a QR code. So yeah, we'll just get started now. And can everyone on Zoom hear me? So how to find research labs? Research labs are a big thing at UCR with it being an R1 research institution. So it's a lot of it's a common thing that many psych students do, and it can often be competitive and all, but there's also like many different options and like very experienced faculty you could do research with. So something to consider is what your research interests are. So the past psych classes that you did and what content that you enjoyed the most. So a lot of times the introduction psych courses are like good to have like done for the research labs. So psych 1 to 11 and 12. And then maybe some courses that are more related to your specific area of interest, such as developmental, IO, and social psych. And then you can also consider groups or populations that you want to work with. So maybe adolescents or childhood, college students, or older adults. So yeah, it has like a good range to it. So I've worked with older adults in the Brain Game Center. So they had like studies to help improve their cognitive abilities. So you might have seen like an email from the lab. So yeah, like um oh yeah, so they do like kind of brain games about it. So like they're on the phone app, and those kind of help with their memory abilities and other aspects such as that. And currently I'm in the PAW lab, so positive activities and well-being. And I'm kind of working with college students on that. And the current study is helping people like be more extroverted. So they're seeing if like activities such as that can, or doing extroverting activities makes you happier overall. So yeah, that's like a college student kind of sample. And you don't need to know what for sure you want to study in order to apply, because the lab, they have like different projects that the professors are working on. So you can kind of look up on their research, and you can also work with the faculty or grad students on your specific research interests. So yeah, there's a lot of range. And the psychology website is a great resource for UCR students. So it has like all the different lab names and then the applications. But a lot of times like people may not look at the site. So you should also try to email them. And I think what Vanessa wrote here is to, it's a good idea to narrow your interest to like 3 or 4 labs and look at each individual lab site to find out about their current research projects and read research articles. And then to learn more about the lab, there's student office hours. So a lot of times like people don't go to office hours, which is a shame. But yeah, I get that, because it's kind of, it feels weird going to it and everything, and also like making the time. So like for that, like you could kind of prepare something beforehand, or maybe some professors are kind of open in office hours and they'll really like talk about anything. And yeah, so yeah, just go to office hours. And you could also ask peers who are research assistants about their experiences with their lab of interest. Like I know one of my friends, like into school psych, like she did like a lot of different labs and she's like gained a lot of experience. So sometimes your peers are like the best way to ask about. And then, so some of our events, we have the Psych Fall Lab Fair in fall. So that's where we invite people from different labs at UCR. So you could learn more about the lab or ask about like openings and stuff like that. And coming up in June 2nd is ArtPsych. So this is this research conference at UCR. And there will be poster presentations, highlighted presentations, as well as a panel. So what to expect for the application and interview process. In the application, there's like certain skills that about yourself that you can highlight. So yeah, there's some of them that are listed. So like for a lot of the skills, it can kind of help to show, just not like tell about the skills. So what kind of experiences in the past that you've done that relate to those skills and show like they're in display. And GPA matters, but you can show more yourself through your application. So know what the lab that you are applying to does, read research papers, and familiarize yourself with the ongoing studies. And for the interview, you should be honest with what you know. So don't try to just say something that would sound good unless it's like real. And don't be afraid that if you have no research experience, because everyone starts somewhere, and an undergraduate RA position is usually the first step for people. Like for some labs, they do have specific requirements, like they'll want you to be kind of later in your undergraduate education, but for others, you can get started right away, and maybe they'll have like different options for you. And like it could be a starting position anyway, like if they tell you or like direct you to kind of apply later or something like that. And similar to a job interview, try to practice beforehand so that you're not as nervous. So kind of questions about like research interests you have, or like your career goals in psychology, and all those like regular interview and psychology questions. And find ways to show that you connect with the research apart from I want to put this on my CV for grad school. Of course, it's like gonna look good on your CV, but research is really an opportunity for you to like dive into a specific topic and really take time on like a specific topic. So you'd want to enjoy that and like make the most of it. And getting involved. So you could get involved with the graduate students project. That's kind of what I'm doing with the extroversion study. So yeah, like when you apply for the research position, like you'll be working with the graduate student on their project and helping like administer experiments, for example, or maybe they want like some help with data analysis or a lot of different aspects. And there's also the UCR research portal, which is another resource. So you can see like the current labs that are accepting RAs or are looking for some help, and some descriptions and how to apply. So you could also start your own research project. So with UCR's honors program, that's an opportunity to have a capstone project. So you can look for a faculty mentor by seeing like different faculty that interest you and kind of reaching out to them, like telling them your interest, and they could potentially like work with you on a project that's like totally tailored to what you want to do. And then you can also do a personal project. So like away from like the structure like that capstone project gives, so that gives you like even more leeway. That would be like harder to do though, but yeah, like it would, yeah.
When it says for how to get started, start your own research project, would you be needing to work in a lab at the time and develop a research project in that lab you're working in as an RA? Or could you do a literature review, write a research proposal, and kind of get started on your own research on the side? And how would you do that without funding?
Yeah, I think like definitely like doing it in a lab is like the most common and like easier way. I think like that is an option to do like a literature review and try to get that started. But like you do raise a good point, like the funding, like you do need to get that. So you might need to ask like a mentor you have or anything for assistance. Yeah.
I'm in a research lab right now,
Mhm.
but I just started working here this quarter because I'm in first year. So I was wondering, when it says get started on your own research project, don't we need to be working in the lab for some time before you develop an independent one? Because you're a grad student, also they have their funding, they're working on their own projects,
Mhm.
and then it takes time to develop that relationship with the PI also to be able to do your own.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely do think that would be a little like pushy, like to kind of ask like you want to do like your own project right away. So like, yeah, like showing like you've been in the lab and like taking the time to learn things and like kind of like getting yourself settled in the lab. Like if you were to do it with the lab, I think, yeah.
I know it depends on the lab, but about how long does it take until you can do an independent research project in that lab?
I guess like I would say like at least 2 quarters, like that would probably be the minimum, I feel like. And yeah, for some labs, it might be like longer, like 1 or 2 years. Like, I'm not sure exactly. Um, oh yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Oh yeah.
I have another question about the summer research programs.
Mhm.
I know I was looking into them and I thought that RISE and UC Leeds were just for STEM majors.
Mm.
There are times that
Oh.
offer STEM majors, and I know Mark is one that offers it for psych majors, but only psych majors if you're getting a BS in psych and you take bio, chem, and cal.
I see. Oh, yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah, like I haven't really done the links on the slide, so yeah, I can't like say too much about them. But yeah, like I could ask like the team members after, like if they want to write any notes or anything. So yeah, like if they have anything to say as well.
For OpSpsych and the undergraduate research symposium, do you need to have done your own independent research project, or can you take data from the lab that you're working in, if you're a research assistant, and then develop your own project or analyze it in a different way and frame a new research question that's kind of similar that goes off of that and make your own poster and present that?
I think you can do that, but you'd probably need to ask like the faculty or graduate student. Yeah. So like, yeah, they might like help you with that process too as well, you know?
So our site is presenting posters on, is it all presenting posters or what else goes into our site?
There's posters, yeah, mainly posters, and there is one other thing I can't remember right now. Yeah. Um, yeah, do you have any other questions?
So yeah, our site is just, you can either take data that's already been collected and frame it in your own way for the research hub you're in, as long as it's okay with your PI and grad student, or you can develop your own research project and make a poster and then you would be presenting that at an all-day conference.
Yeah.
Then when you present it, I know it goes from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. this year. Are you gonna be just at your table those 7 hours?
Oh, no, the posters would be like 1 to 2 hours. I'm not sure exactly either. Yeah, it wouldn't be the whole time. Like there's a panel and then like time for lunch and stuff like that.
Where's the panel?
Oh, not a panel, a keynote speaker.
Rest of the time?
Yeah, like I don't know exactly. Like I'm not like the RSpsych director, so like I just have like the most basic idea of it. Yeah.
You know about what goes on at the undergrad research symposium?
Yeah. So what I like last time I went, like it was outside, and yeah, there was also like an hour for posters. Um, well, I was only in the posters part, so does anyone know about like the other parts of undergrad research symposium? No. Well, yeah, so there was poster presentations, and I'm not sure about what else, sorry.
Is it similar to our site,
Yeah.
but for all research?
No, psychology research.
the undergrad research symposium is for just psych? I thought our psych,
Oh,
the
wait.
research psych, and the undergrad research symposium was for all research.
It might be. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Oh, yeah.
Also for the our psych, is for anyone undergraduate to apply to apply for our psych,
Yes.
and it's to be your own research.
Oh, it doesn't need to be your own research. Like, it could be like something like a project that you're working on in the lab, so presenting the findings of that. Yes. Mhm. Um, so yeah, there's also grant opportunities, so mini grants and Chancellor's Research Fellowship are opportunities at UCR. So yeah, I don't know like too much about this because I've never like applied for grants before. But yeah, like there will be links afterwards to look more into that. And the honors capstone project. So with the honors, when you find a faculty mentor, there's going to be like the projects that you have to keep up with. So then there's like HNPG 150, which is like one of the first class that you have with honors. So that's where you're kind of working on finding your faculty mentor and like having like the basic ideas of the project. And then in following quarters, you kind of work a little by little to make sure the project is completed on time. And then summer research programs, I'm not too sure about that either. So there's our psych, kind of like what we touched on earlier. So there's poster presentations and then like around like 8 highlighted presentations for our psych. And yeah, again, I'm not too sure about the schedule, but there's a keynote speaker as well. And it's Kate Sweeney is the speaker. So yeah, that should be great. And then there's the undergraduate research symposium. So like the part that I did was posters and presenting that. So it's yeah, similar to our psych and but yeah, different location, but it's earlier in the year. So I think it's like coming up like in May. So like early May. And then there's the undergraduate research journal. You might have received an email to apply about that. So yeah, that's another opportunity. Yeah.
You mentioned that for the honors capstone project, you need to find a faculty member for your third year first quarter during HNPG 149.
Um, well, that's kind of like the deadline where you have to like find the faculty mentor by.
By the time you start taking your honors capstone classes?
Well, they want like during that like that class that I mentioned, like around by week 5 or 6 is when they want you to find the mentor by, but there is like leeway kind of till the start of the next quarter, but it's best to do it earlier. And like, yeah, you could even do it before the class, but that's just kind of a deadline.
Let's say that you wanted to, you've been working in a lab all throughout your second year, and then, because I know the capstone is third and fourth years, or if you graduate early,
Mhm.
you know, that would be second and third years, but just following the traditional 4-year path. If you're working in a lab all throughout your second year and you find, with that faculty advisor, the PI of that lab, you want to develop your research project in that lab, but then they don't have the time or their ability to take you on as a mentee,
Mhm.
could you still develop your capstone project in that lab, but under a different faculty advisor? Do you know how that faculty advisor thing works?
Like, I think like I don't know exactly about that. Like, that's something like best to ask like the honors counselor about. Like, he's pretty responsive. So like Dr. Cardullo, if you know him.
Yeah, though I
Yeah.
know he's retiring at the end of this year, so he
Oh,
won't be working here
oh,
full
okay, I
time
see.
for my capstone.
But yeah, basically, like I think you could talk to like the mentor and be like, see like how much, like maybe if you could even meet like once to 2 weeks, like for a short meeting or something. And like the graduate student, like he could assign like a graduate student to help you with the project, like something like that, like try to work it out probably. good, but yeah, you do need like a faculty mentor for the honors project specifically.
And it has to be okay, yeah, the faculty advisor. Because I know I heard that you don't have to develop your capstone project in a research lab, it can be on anything. So it's just any professor can be your faculty advisor
Yeah,
that agrees. Yeah, so I was just wondering, if I have a professor that agrees to be my faculty advisor, could I develop that project in the research lab I'm working in if the faculty advisor isn't the PI of that research lab?
oh wait, could you say that again?
Okay, so if I find a faculty advisor, so someone, just a faculty member that agrees to be my advisor for the project, could I develop my project doing psychology research in a research lab? That has a PI who isn't my faculty advisor? Or does my faculty advisor need to be the PI of that lab if I want to develop my capstone in that lab?
Yeah, that I'm not sure about. Yeah.
So would I have to ask Dr. Cardulo about that?
Yeah, or like the current honors director.
If he's
Yeah.
the current-
Or like,
Oh, yeah,
oh
well, he
yeah,
does go with
yeah,
it.
yeah. There's no faculty like mentor for our psych. It's just um, like, for the project, like whoever the authors are. So yeah. Mm. Yeah, well, there's basically just like abstract submissions, so you'll just kind of list like the faculty mentor in it, so there's not like an approval process, but yeah. For our psych, it's it might, I don't know exactly. I think we'll, oh yeah,
It's fairly new for
yeah.
I know our site is on Sunday site. I think in the Discord for SciPy, there should be something about when the deadline.
The research journal. That I don't know exactly either. Does anyone else know?
I know, if you get involved in research, any kind of research, any year your undergrad, you kind of like you submit for our site, you submit your research proposal or your project to the undergrad research journal, and they can look over it and approve it. And then it's like this physical paper newsletter, like a magazine, and it'll include research from a bunch of undergraduate students if the research gets approved. So it's your own research project that you've already done. And our site is presenting a poster, but this is just being published in a research journal that is accessible to all UCR students.
Thanks, Grace. Yeah.
Do you know anything about this one?
No. Yeah, I'll definitely ask the team after, because I know I didn't know a lot of stuff on that side. So applying to present for conferences or something like that. So what should you usually have in a proposal? So you'll have like a section where you list your information as well as your faculty, mentors information, and sometimes there's kind of like biographical information, so you might need to ask your team members about that beforehand. So like just to make sure that you submit it by the deadline. And then there's also the abstract submission, so usually in a separate file and with like following all the requirements, and that would have like the title written clearly as well. So yeah, the title is also like pretty important when you're applying. So making sure that is established, because you won't be able to like change it later probably. And then the type of presentation that you do. So it could be like a poster presentation that our psych and undergraduate research symposium do. And then there's also oral presentations for things like something like the undergraduate research symposium, and then it also has like an opportunity for creative activities. So if there's like some way you incorporate performing and arts, like dance or music or something. And yeah, the project doesn't have to be fully done to present on it. So it could be like in the process of data collection or something like that. But you could kind of communicate like your findings so far for that. And make sure that you're following correct formatting instructions because that's pretty important. And like before you submit it, as well as after, like if they want you to kind of check on everything and make sure it's like submitted properly. And then, yeah, like afterwards, they might ask you for like your introduction information or like signing up for a presentation slot. So make sure you don't miss that. So you're able to make it to the time. And then different types of presentations. So there's two listed here, the poster presentations and oral presentations. So poster presentations are kind of a more casual setting and sessions can last hours, usually like 1 or 2. And for oral presentations, it's more formal of a presentation and they have slides. So poster presentations would be 5 to 10 minutes and have like the main methods and findings of the project. So it's really concise and like in a way with like a lot of visuals, like graphs, tables. So something like you can kind of walk around and notice, like that might be better than like a lot of words on the project. And oral presentations, like you're like more speaking about it, so it like lasts around 10 to 15 minutes. Because like with poster presentations, usually like people like walk around to visit your poster, and yeah, you might need to like engage with people in that way. So like, yeah, oral presentations are more like set up a structure. So yeah, going off of that, for oral presentations, you present to many people. And like poster presentations, it's kind of like whoever walks by. So it might be like a group or just like one person. And it's also like a great way to network because you're kind of just like meeting people in a way. Like you could build off like on your like research interests you have or like something that else that you're getting up to. And it's also a great opportunity to hear feedback on your project because people might have questions and you might not have answers to that. So you'll kind of, you could think like if there's like a block in your research or something like that, or a new question you could consider. And oral presentations are a way that you can share your research with a larger number of people because a lot of times like with poster presentations, like you're kind of like idle at the poster. So it's only like when people walk up by and like find your poster like interesting out of everyone's. So yeah, oral presentations, you're kind of sharing it to a crowd and like everyone's hearing you. Does anyone have any questions as of now? Yes. Well, what I know about is like the RSpsych conference. So yeah, that's like where a big part like poster presentations are. And yeah, there was also like the undergraduate research symposium. So both of those are like conferences at UCR. There's also like the Western Psychological Association. So like, yeah, they'll have a section or like a specific time period where they'll have like poster presentations. Yeah.
You mentioned oral presentations, you would be giving an oral presentation on your poster, right? So no matter what, you need to be presenting a poster.
No, it doesn't need to be like a poster.
So you can just, what kind of research symposium would you just be giving oral presentations? Because I thought that at our site and the research symposium, you did need this. I do not.
I don't think you do. I know like for our psych, or like for undergraduate research symposium, there's like oral presentation, and that one is for kind of like work that you haven't finished yet. So kind of talking about those findings. So I think like, I don't think there's a specific guideline of what you have to have, like at least from what I saw. So yeah, I should figure this out later because I am gonna do an oral presentation. But yeah, probably like preparing slides or a poster or something of the sort would help you, but I'm not sure if it's required or not.
Okay, so regardless of needing a poster or not, you would still submit an abstract and the title of your work. And then if your research is still in progress and by the time the symposium comes around and you don't get to make a poster, then you can just have a slide presentation and demonstrate and talk about what you do have.
Yeah, like you do submit like an abstract and title, and you kind of choose beforehand if you want to do like a poster presentation or oral presentation. So it's not kind of like something you decide later.
So you submit, like, when you apply to do it, you state whether you're gonna do a poster or oral.
Yeah.
What would you talk about if you haven't finished gathering data?
You could talk about like what data have you found so far, and kind of like the procedure and everything like that as well. But then I think also like focus on how come it's not finished, like what are your next steps, like if there's anything like you're taking on in terms of that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So preparing a poster, so kind of like the basic formatting of a poster. So there would be like the introduction, methods, hypothesis, results, and discussion or implications. And they've kind of have like a clear heading on them. So make sure the poster is clear, and like headings also like help a lot with that. And make sure it's uncluttered. So make the formatting in a way that like you're able to see like all the different sections, and like they're able to come together. And so yeah, you can print it or back, and it's usually done by appointments. So it's $40 for the smallest size. And there's kind of a link here about Canvas business services, which you could probably see after the meeting. And to make your poster, so like there's different templates available that you could use for the poster, or you could use software such as Adobe InDesign, PowerPoint, and Google Slides. Yep.
How big is the poster typically?
Yeah, I think that varies. Like maybe like 10 inches by 17 inches, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they'll probably have that listed.
They'll tell you later.
Yeah.
When is the undergrad research symposium?
When is it? It should be May 6th to May 7th.
Oh, it's 2 days.
Yeah.
Is it on campus?
Yeah, I think one day is in person. I'm not sure the location, but like the other day is online.
And then our site is in the hub upstairs.
Yeah,
So the other one, you said you don't know the location, but it will be on campus?
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
Is that a weekend?
I'm not sure of that either. Sorry.
Is it 16th to 17th?
6th to 7th. Undergraduate research symposium. So oral presentations. So yeah, this probably would answer your question better. Like you got like everything written here. So think about outlining things related to a normal research paper. So it could be the problem, the goal of the research, the hypothesis that you've set, methods or the procedure of what the experiment or data analysis process takes, and then results, and analyzing findings. So something to consider is your audience. So are the people familiar with the area of research that you're presenting? So different conferences have different audiences. So something probably on UCR is more student-based, so they wouldn't have like as familiarity with like the specific area of research, but for something like Western Psychological Association, there's more like people who do research and they know like what they're talking about. So you could talk like more technical terms and like speak like in a more intricate way in a way, and like kind of make it easier to understand for like ones on UCR or like less familiar audience. So simplicity, don't overwhelm your audience with too many graphics. And it's okay to have more slides with less content. That kind of helps the audience focus. So instead of having like the slides filled with a lot of information, and having white space is not bad. So the day of the presentation, a little tips and kind of like how it may look like. So you'll be putting up the poster, so make sure you're prepared for that. And like, it could help to have like a team member or maybe like ask someone nearby if you need help with the wind and everything. And then make sure to bring pins. I didn't know that the first time. And make sure you get there early because like you'll be like in less of a rush, so you could kind of get started with what's going on. And what to wear, there's nothing too specific. So just like regular business casual or like what you would wear to an interview or something. And make sure that you're in comfortable shoes as well, because you'll be standing for a long amount of time. And it's important to practice beforehand to make sure you feel comfortable with what you're going to say. So like for poster presentations, like a little pitch when people walk by or potential questions. And then for oral presentations, kind of run through the whole like project a few times maybe. So answering questions. So yeah, for things like poster presentations, people may come by to ask you any questions. So make sure you're ready to answer those questions or like admit when you don't know the answer, and you can like spark a discussion with that as well. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Great. So yeah, that's kind of all about research that we've prepared for today. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we talked about today? Yes, we'll be sending a recap email afterwards. So have you got a chance to sign in? Yeah, so you could reach out to ucrpsychi@gmail.com for that. So yeah, we could send those to you. Yeah, did you have a question?
Do any of the other board members know about this?
Yeah, they definitely do. Especially because like they filled out the slides with it. So yeah,
Who I could talk to if I wanted more info on that?
I don't remember who made it right now, but yeah, I can let you know afterwards. Okay. So in case you haven't been to one of our meetings before, we have like a brief introduction of what Psychi is. So the pronunciation is Psy and then like Kai and Kite. So it's an honor society, and there are unit and GPA requirements for membership, and it's not a fraternity or sorority. It's an organization of members and chapters that recognize scholastic achievement, and its goal is to encourage excellence in the science and application of psychology, including leadership, research, and creativity. It was founded September 4th, 1929, during the 9th International Congress of Psychology. And it is the largest student psychological organization with more than 750,000 members. And some alumni or distinguished members include Albert Bandura, Elizabeth Loftus, and UCR's Robert Rosenthal. So these are the board of Psychi. So yeah, I'm the president. The vice president is Abigail. Secretary is May. And then treasurer is Cameron. Historian is Vanessa. And DEOs, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Matthew.
Yeah. So program coordinators, we have the first year lay member program, and the coordinators are Ashley and Abigail. For mentorship program, it's Gemma and Cameron, and our community promoter is Ulysses. Yeah.
About the mentorship program, when can you apply? Because I know right now I'm in the influence, but the mentorship program is for second, third, and fourth years to connect with graduate students, right?
Yes. I believe it's official members.
Yeah, and it's not just graduate students, it's also could be people like in the field. So there's also people that are working like in corporate, people that are working in different fields. So you can try to find a mentor that suits what you're looking for.
So
Mm.
if next fall I'm an official member, then can I apply then?
Yes.
Do you know around when the application?
I think they'll kind of decide that next year, probably, like the new board and all. Yeah. So there's official and prospective members for Psychi. So official members have approved applications, a 3.0 psychology GPA, 3.3 overall GPA, are second years or above, and psychology majors or minors. And prospective members have pending applications, so they haven't done it yet, or they haven't like been accepted, and they have any GPA, any year, and any major, so basically anyone. Yep.
I'm taking Psych 12 right now. Would I apply to be a official member after I complete the course or while I'm completing it now?
It would be after. So I took Psych 12 spring quarter and I applied for fall quarter, basically. So when the fall quarter application opens, you would sign in.
Do you apply over the summer to be a member in the fall?
Well, I actually don't. I wasn't here this summer, so I'm not actually sure about that. But I think you are applicable because you have the unit requirements, or as long as you have the unit requirements. Because I think it's like 14 seconds and it's like 11
Mhm.
or what education should be.
In the summer, I think it was starting in fall. Extended like November.
So the application opens at multiple times.
Yeah, but I'm sure it does it in this.
I said that I could apply to be
Yeah.
like no apply earlier so that I am a member of that set.
Yes.
The psychology GPA requirement. I looked online and it said it was an upper division psychology GPA requirement. Is it just any psychology classes or specifically upper divisions?
Yeah, specifically upper divisions.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to apply even if you have over 3.0 psychology GPA without upper divs, like just the basic psych courses.
Oh, you can apply then.
So it doesn't have to be just upper division 3.0 psychology GPA. It can be any psychology GPA.
Yeah, I applied and it was just like one code.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, kind of going back to your question. So yeah, like I think like the applications kind of close early. So yeah, maybe it's not open in the summer, maybe not, so I'm not sure about that part. But yeah, they do close pretty early, so it'd be early enough in the quarter.
But I know I'm gonna be on board next year, we need to be an official member to be on board, but I'll have the requirements to be an official member by the end of spring. But then, don't I need to already be a member once the fall starts?
Like anytime during your candidacy.
Yeah, so then I would need to submit the application to be a fall member before fall starts, right?
Whenever it opens, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it should be fine. You should just, whenever the application opens, you should be. It gets approved pretty quickly once you actually, if you have it.
So yeah, membership applications, it kind of has, oh yeah, the requirements listed more clearly over here. And tonight is the deadline for membership. So yeah, definitely get to it today. And like, yeah, I'll leave the links up here a few more moments. So yeah, it says 14 units of psychology coursework and yeah, any psychology coursework and cumulative GPA of 3.3, and average GPA of 3.0 in any psychology coursework. Okay.
So when you do apply, you need to apply for both the national online application and the local chapter application.
Yes.
You also need to join the Highland Group.
Yes. So we're still looking for mentorship program co-coordinators for next year. So kind of what was mentioned earlier, so where you could be a mentee and learn from alumni or those who are working in the field about various psychology topics, and you kind of get matched with the pairing process. So yeah, if you're interested in applying, applications close Wednesday, April 24th at 5 p.m. And the big QR code is the application form, and the smaller one is the guidelines for the application. So our psych, this year it would be the 6th annual conference for Psychi, and it's a free event that allows undergraduate researchers like yourself to present posters of your research at a symposium to students, faculty, friends, and family. So yeah, it looks like it's posters, and deadlines to submit an abstract is May 1st at 11:59. And make sure, like, if you want to spread the word to your fellow peers, and it would be held Sunday, June 2nd at Hub 302 South. And there's also Instagram for the RPsych conference as well as the RPsych email. And we have reopened treasurer voting because we are looking for more votes. So please scan the QR code and vote if you are an active official member. And you must be active in fall 2023 or winter 2024. And for elections to be official, we need 50% plus one active official members to vote. And the deadline is next Friday at 5 p.m. So Psych Highlights, this is an edition that Vanessa, our historian, will be incorporating. So this is definitely a great opportunity to share your achievements. And if you want to share your story about Psychi and other activities in your life, please consider filling out the member highlights interest form. And you would be incorporated in our quarterly newsletter. And yeah, there's the winter quarterly newsletter open, so you could see like how that would look like. And like we'll actually go to the slide just about now. So yeah, the winter quarterly newsletter is posted on the website, And there's also that QR code. So it's a quarterly recap of Psych-Chi events to allow us to reminisce and share the memories we made together. It consists of many photos from the winter quarter, as well as summaries of the different programs and events of Psych-Chi. So please check it out. And then, yeah, there's just some contact information on the sides. So for Discord, joining our mailing list, and then also seeing the Psych-Chi website. And then office hours this quarter would be Wednesdays, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. in person for odd weeks, at Psych 1136, and Zoom for even weeks. And that is all we have for the general meeting section. So next would be the social, which is Family Feud. Thank you.